the next book I want to talk about is by an author who took me a while to like. Like, Tracy Brown is an author, but she like has these really big books, and like they're really like thick. They're like 400 pages long, and it takes me a minute to get into them. But there's this one book that I read called White Lines by Tracy Brown, and this is actually a really good book. Once you really, this book was good because it wasn't just about one, like, it was about one character, but it wasn't just about one character. It was about how this one drug can affect everybody around you. And the main character is Jada. And you really see how, if you don't know what White Lines is, then you need to go and read the book. But that's what the White Lines is. And she ends up getting addicted to this stuff. But see, people around her know this, and they end up either trying to help her or manipulate her. And it really takes her a long time to get on her own 2 feet. But she ends up meeting this guy named Bourne. And Bourne is a drug dealer. Hint, hint, how it affects everyone around her. And he sells that drug. But he doesn't ever sell it to her, and he never uses it. So when they get together, he makes her promise not to use it. Now, granted, she's been clean for a few months now, but she ends up telling him the truth about it, and she ends up telling him that she's been clean. Now, throughout their whole entire relationship, you're thinking, okay, so how far is this going to go? She stays clean for Bourne, and they have this lavish lifestyle. They end up falling in love, and everything is great until she meets Sonny. And when she thinks that everything is fine and dandy, it really isn't. She ends up getting hooked back onto the drug through Sonny, but see, she does it discreetly. But there's nothing discreet about this drug. So it's just like she ends up being manipulated right back into the game and thinking that's all fine. Now, Sonny is the wife of the head drug dealer, I guess. And he knows that his wife is using it, he just doesn't acknowledge it. And it takes a lot. Like, when I say the story just isn't about Jada, it's about really everyone else. Like, it focuses around Jada, but like, it's also about Sonny and how she ends up using it. It's also about Bourne and how he uses it. It's also about Jada's mother and how she neglects Jada and her problem. It's also about Jada's sister and how she sees the problem, she just doesn't want to help with the problem. So, like, you see a lot going on. Once Jada and Bourne break up, once again, she's back in that downward spiral. And it takes something miraculous happening in order for her to fight to beat that drug. And I honestly thought that this book was really good because it takes you through like the amount of emotions, and it takes you through like different like themes of Jada's life. It also shows you like there's not one person in this book who wasn't affected by White Lines. It wasn't affected by this drug, whether they were using it, whether they were selling it, or whether they were neglecting people who were using it. Like, everyone. Like, there was a theme about everyone. And towards the end, you would think that Jada and Bourne would have a happy ending, but honestly, I think that's as happy as it's going to get right now. Upside, really good story, but downside, if you're the type of person who likes to read books that are less than 300 pages long, then don't read this book, because you'll be sitting here and trying to figure out what's happening next, but like, I'm not saying that it's slow, but you'll really want to get towards the end, because I know one of my best friends, she likes to read books, but she doesn't like to read like really thick books. And I like to read them on occasion, and Tracy Brown is one of those books. Like, I have not met a book where she's had a short read. So if you I like this book. This book was good. It took me a minute to read because it was freaking long, but like, you really see the themes throughout the book. If you're into like stuff like that, into reading between the lines of books and seeing it, then this is a book that you should really read, because this book will really make you think. There are no questions in the back of the book, but like, that book will make you think about everything, not just Jada, but Jada, Sunny, Asia, Bourne, Jada's mom, Charlie, all that stuff. You'll really see it. This is really a person who had everything, lost everything, had everything lavishly, and then lost everything, and then had to fight to regain her life again. So it's a really good read. It is. I'm not saying it's as good as Ashley and Brenda, but it's a good read. Like, you should really go read this book because it's a good read if you like to read thick books like that. So take a minute, go get it, read it. Might take you more than 5 days to read it, but good read. White Lines by Tracy Brown.